Hello everyone, my name is Deepika and in this video I am going to show you how to use updateRelationship API in MDM. First I will walk you through the introduction and then I will tell you what are the significance of each parameter, what are the Cyprian UID associated with respect to different parameters, and last I will show you the demo. updateRelationship API is used to update the relationship between two entities in hierarchy management. The existing relationship is updated if the period start date or period end date or corresponding custom column associated with it is modified. But if you update the hierarchy or the relationship type or both the entities or the single entity, then it means you are not updating the relationship, you are creating a new relationship and deleting the existing one. When you are doing so, a new relationship record is created and the record key that is returned in the response will be different from the one specified in the update relationship. Make sure you provide the correct combination of the entity type, hierarchy, and the relationship type when you are updating a relationship to make a new relationship. In short, if you are updating the hierarchy or relationship type or entity so that the request is successful and passed through validation. If any of the combination is incorrect, then in the response you will get the error. In MDM schema, in ORS schema, you will use the CRB or L type, which is used to tell the associated relationship type, which is a master table, and CRB hierarchy, which is a master table to tell the associated hierarchy type. And the relationship base object will store the foreign key with respect to these parent table. Now I will show you what are the parameters or important parameters associated with the updateRelationship API. First, you will see the HM configuration UID, which tell you the UID of the HM configuration associated with the relationship. You can find this in the hub console under the hierarchy and the profile. Similarly, we have a relationship UID. You need to provide the UID of the relationship type which is associated, which you are going to update. Hierarchy UID, UID of the hierarchy associated. The combination of relationship type UID and the HM configuration UID determines the relationship base object. And the new relationship UID in case you want to update the relationship to a new relationship. All this can be found under the hierarchies and the hub console. I will show you where you can get this. For a reference, I am using the MDM sample schema, and under hub console you go to hierarchies, you will see the profile. Under profile you will see the profile name which is nothing but the HM configuration. For relationship type, relationship UID, you need to go to the under hierarchies relationship object and select the relationship type. And for the hierarchy, you need to select the hierarchy associated with it. Rest of the parameters are self-explanatory. Start date, which tells you what will be the new period start date of the relationship, end date, new period end date of the relationship. Record key is the key or the row ID object or PK source or the row ID system of the record, relationship record which needs to be updated. BO1 record key and the BO2 record key will tell the foreign key associated with the entity 1 and entity 2 respectively. And there is a tag record which you will use if in case you have the custom field associated with the relationship type and you want to update those relationship on those field under the relationship. And the Cyprian object UID, which tells the UID of the relationship object. For example, your relationship base object is C_RL_party, so you will say base_object.C_RL_party. So these are the various Cyprian UID that you will use while making a call. For the parameter HM configuration ID, you need to give a Cyprian UID HM_configuration dot followed by the configuration name. So under this, if I'm using the MDM sample as a reference, so for example, I'm giving HM configuration dot default. I showed you the default version profile and bar followed by the sandbox master which I am using. For relationship type, you need to use the Cyprian UID HM_relationship_type dot followed by your relationship type name. For example, in the MDM sample I'm using is ODI parent of, so I'm giving that relationship type UID. Hierarchy UID is HM_hierarchy dot followed by the hierarchy name. and the parent base object UID is base object dot followed by your relationship object name. So I'm starting the demo. Under the demo, first I will show you how to update the existing relationship. For a demo purpose, I'm using the SOAP UI tool and I'm using the MDM sample schema, and under that I'm going to update the C_RL_party, which is a relationship based object which connects the relationship between party to party. So I'm going to take the existing record. Let me log into the database. I'm using C_RL_party table. Let me take the row ID object 1 for updating the relationship. So currently period start date and end date is null. And the rel description, which is a custom column that is referring to parent. So let's update the period start date, end date and the rel description of this record. So this row ID object is 10, row ID hierarchy 1, row ID rel type is 2, 507 parent ID 227. So in the SOAP UI, how I'm going to put this value? Let's say row ID object 10 first. So I'm going to put the row ID object 10 here. HM configuration ID. So this is a profile which is associated with it. If I open the MDM Hub console, I have the profile associated with it, which is default. So I am giving the name as hm_configuration.default with the master sandbox. This is what I am giving. This is nothing but the ORS ID is a username password. Now I have the rel type UID, hierarchy UID and the new relationship UID. Since I am updating the existing one, I may not need this. For the rel type UID, I have the HM relationship type dot the relationship code. So where I can get the relationship code? If I see the row ID object 2 from the RBRel type is associated with the row ID object 10. So our row ID rel type is 2. So I will go to the relationship type table and check what is the row ID object 2, which is ODI parent of. Under Hub console, you can check under hierarchy relationship object and check the associated. Under party rel table, which one you are going to update. This is OID parent of. So that is what I have given. Similarly, for hierarchy, we have the ODI. Let me show you. In database, I will refer to the table CRPO hierarchy and check the row ID 2 and row ID 1. Row ID 1, which is having the hierarchy code ODI. So for the row ID object 10, the hierarchy code is row ID 1. So I'm giving in the SOAP request ODI. BO1 and BO2 is entity 1 and entity 2. So we'll check in the database what are two entities this relationship is associated with. You see the entities are 323, 250. So you can change the description. This is for updating the custom column. Under this example, we have a custom call which is aerial description. So I am just changing the description to the new description. Earlier it was parent. and for doing that I need to give the specify the Siberian object UID for which base object I am updating it. So it is base underscore object dot c underscore RL party. So I'm making a request. I made the request and I got the response this. If you notice, I am giving to update the row ID object 10, but actually I am getting the as a response 942, which is the new row ID. Why it is so? So I was trying to update the relationship. As I told you in the previous slides that if you update entity, any of the entity associated or the rel type or the hierarchy, it will be considered as a new relationship. So here the association between the two entities were 3 to 3 and 5 to 1. 3 to 3 and 5 to was the original. So instead of giving 250, I have given the 251. So it means I am changing the entities, which in turn means I am creating a new relationship. So now 942 is a new relationship which gets created. Which is 942. Now I want to, let's say, now period started ended is null, which is means this relationship is active forever. But I want to specify the period started ended. I want to specify under which time frame this relationship should remain active. For that you need to provide the parameter period start date and end date. So let's say I want to make the relationship start date 1st of January 2015 12 0. And I want to keep it till August of 12 2015. Now I want to update the serial relationship 942. So as I updated, I got the same response 942. Let's check what is the period started ended now in the database. So as you see, if you query the row ID if you query the XRF table, you will see period started ended will get changed, which means you have given the period start date. Earlier it was null. Now you are updating the existing relationship to make it as period ended 11 Jan. And as I am saying, I am starting the new relationship between 12th of Jan to 12th of August. It is created the new relationship and broken the previous relationships. Now you would be wondering why the other relationships have not got soft deleted. We have updated the period started ended, but still there were 3 rows. So it means it was still saying that the relationship is active forever. The reason was because you have used the source system as the other source system which is not the SMOS enabled. So if you use the source system which is SMOS enabled and the record is created through SMOS itself, then this is going to sort delete the record. I'm going to take another example of row ID object 1. This is the row ID object which I have queried. This is existing record. Here you see earlier the period start date ended was null. Later it got updated to 20th Jan to 20th August, and later lastly it got again updated to 20th October. The period ended is extended, let's say. So what it did is it marked the other 2 record as -1, created the new record. So let me update once again the period start date from 20th to 31st December. the request is updated. I have queried this record and you see the period end date is updated to 31st of December. Because still this record is valid, still the end date has not has not reached. Lastly, I will show you how to update the source LUT. You have seen under this record source LUT 20th September. Let's say I want to update it to 26th September as well as the last update date. Using the updateRelationship API for updating the relationship table. For that, you should first make the last updated column as bootable because this is a system column. So if you see, I have already made it to bootable. Now you need to add it as a custom field, because if you use the last update tag which comes by the request, it is going to throw you the error. So as a workaround, you need to use as a custom field. So here you need to pass a last update date. File the request got updated. Let's check in database. In the database, you query this, you will see the SRC LUT and the last update date is updated. Please refer to the KB article mentioned on the screen for more details. We will love to hear from you. You can write to us at supportvideos@informatica.com or tweet us at the twitter.com infasupport. Thank you very much for listening.